Stand by.
A call for a medical emergency turns into a homicide investigation. Right now at 6, we're live from the scene on Madison's west side.
The victim in a domestic stabbing is being remembered as a family man. More from his family here on News 3.
And later, the use of police body cameras in schools. What's behind the pilot program under consideration in Beloit?
This is News 3 at 6.
There's a certain vileness, there's a certain despicability about the whole thing. You have an instance where the victim was literally scared to death.
Tonight, Madison police are searching for 2 suspects at the center of an armed robbery that left 1 man dead.
It happened overnight around 3 a.m. at the Culvers off the Beltline. Police first received a call for a medical emergency and then discovered much more. Our Keely Arthur joins us live from the scene tonight with more on the investigation. Keely?
This is really a robbery gone wrong because of the incidents that took place inside this Culver's overnight. Madison Police Chief Mike Koval says he's hoping for murder charges. Now, police say 4 men were inside this Culver's retiling the kitchen floor overnight. That's when 2 masked men entered, had the workers lay on the ground, holding them at gunpoint while they worked to open the restaurant's safe. About 45 minutes into the crime, police say one of the workers, a 56-year-old man, suffered a life-threatening medical incident. The suspects did not call 911 or let anyone else do so. They collected the money and left 5 minutes later.
We're going to do everything in our power once we find who's responsible for this heinous act today. We'll probably be looking at a felony murder charge in our pursuit of referring of charges.
An autopsy for the victim was scheduled for 2:30 this afternoon, and police are conducting an extensive search around this area, as you can imagine. But we do want to mention that this Culver's is closed. There have been so many people showing up here, going through the drive-thru, trying to get their custard, asking us what's going on. But we do want to make it clear this Culver's is closed, and it will likely remain closed for the rest of the day.
Keely Arthur reporting live for us tonight. Keely, thank you.
Family members are remembering the 52-year-old man killed in a domestic stabbing over the weekend. Officials identified the man today as Gerald Moore. Moore died of stab wounds Saturday and was found in his apartment on West Badger Road. Tonight, his cousin is remembering the man he called Jerry as someone who put family first.
He loved to cook, and he would give the shirt off his back, and he was very family-oriented. He loved his family members.
McMillian says growing up, he used to spend summers with Moore at their grandmother's home in Milwaukee. 27-year-old Ronald Rideau was arrested in connection to Moore's death. A local police officer is weighing in on the shooting death of Philando Castile, killed at the hands of a Minnesota officer.
A former officer, Geronimo Yanez, was found not guilty by a jury of Castile's death, a case that caught nationwide attention after his girlfriend, you'll recall, live streamed the aftermath in that vehicle on Facebook. Madison police officer Angela Komaski is responding with a letter published in a Minnesota newspaper. Our Leah Lynchite shares what she is saying tonight. Leah?
Yeah, Angela Komaski is a 19-year veteran of the force. She's out on city streets every day, so she takes with her that unique perspective when it comes to Castile's death. Komaski wrote a letter to the Pioneer Press this week. In that letter, she says video of his death captured on police dash cam, quote, broke her. She says she wrote that letter to show there could have been a better outcome and the community as a whole needs to do better.
I think it's important that as police officers sometimes that we take the lead in these types of really important conversations. If we truly want to be able to rebuild relationships that are under strain in our communities and regain trust. And I didn't write the letter to be divisive. I wrote the letter in hopes of letting people in our communities know that we hear you, that we're members of your communities too, and that we can work together to do better.
Komaski's letter appears in Sunday's version of the Pioneer Press. You can find a link to it on our website, channel3000.com, but a very interesting perspective.
Leah Lynchite reporting for us tonight. Leah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. A quiet day weather-wise, Gary.
Nice to have one of those every once in a while. And with the sunshine, it was a pleasant day. But thunderstorms are back in the forecast for tomorrow. In fact, as we take a look at visible cloud track, you can see skies pretty much sunny across Wisconsin. There are some thunderstorms that have been developing over western Minnesota over the last couple of hours. And as we take a look at Doppler track, you can see some showers and thunderstorms over western Minnesota. Those will stay mainly in the western parts of our viewing area overnight. But tomorrow there is a slight risk of severe thunderstorms over most of southern Wisconsin. The threat would be for hail, high winds, and heavy rainfall, mainly tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Otherwise, temperatures right now are in the middle 70s, and look for the dew point temperatures to start rising, meaning it'll become more humid. Showers and thunderstorms may develop late tonight. Better chance during the day tomorrow with a high temperature of 76. That's your first alert weather forecast.
Thank you, Gary. A deal on the state budget remains stalled. A closed-door meeting between Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald and Assembly Republicans ended with no progress, according to lawmakers. But Governor Scott Walker says the state is much closer to reaching a deal than it appears.
The debate is about how much more we're going to do. How much more are we going to put in the schools? How much more are we going to put in the roads? How much more are we going to put in the property tax relief? There aren't huge differences on the issues. It's just a matter of degree.
The biggest area of disagreement continues to be road funding. The current budget ends Friday. Those spending levels will continue if no budget is passed.
The state's education plan was of focus today. The Department of Public Instruction held a listening session on the state's draft plan for the Every Student Succeeds Act. It offers an outline on how the state is going to improve student outcomes, reduce achievement gaps, and increase academic proficiency. Organizers say a common theme has emerged throughout their listening sessions around the state.
We have people want to continue to focus on community and parent involvement in school improvement. That's a bedrock of when we identify schools.
This is the 6th listening session. DPI will use the feedback to make changes in the state plan before getting Governor Walker's approval in August. New tonight at 6, within the next few weeks, some Beloit officers will start wearing body cameras while they're in the field.
And that includes at school when classes are back in session. Our Rock County reporter Jenna Middaugh explains how the school district is preparing for the students to be on camera.
The school resource officers are back on regular patrol while school's out for the summer, but when they return, the officers will have a new addition to their uniforms, body cameras, and the district is working on creating a new policy to go along with the new technology. The high school halls are a lot quieter during the summertime, but when students return in the fall, there will be more than just watchful teachers' eyes on their actions. There will also be police camera recordings.
We have roughly 63 cameras.
That's enough for every officer on patrol to have a body camera, as well as the department's 3 school resource officers. The goal of the cameras is to keep police interactions transparent, both in and outside of school.
If there's something that's contradictory of what the officer is saying and the person that they may be dealing with, then we'll go back and we'll review that and see, hey, try to figure out what's going on, because once something is recorded, it's kind of hard to get rid of that and say, oh, I didn't mean to say that.
Since the school resource officers' cameras will mostly be recording what happens inside the schools, the Beloit Police Department and School District of Beloit are working together to make sure their policies line up with each other.
So therefore, when our officers step on the school grounds, they don't have to do something totally different than what we request here at the police department.
The new body cam policy will be introduced to the Board of Education at its 7 o'clock meeting tonight. In Beloit, Jenna Middaugh, WISC News 3.
The school district's policy is just in the development stages and could still be edited or even changed.
Any concerns over the new policy are expected to be brought up at tonight's board meeting.
A unique program is helping shape futures.
Next, how it's preparing inmates at Wisconsin prisons for life after their sentences. Welcome back. From prisons to farms, a new training program is preparing inmates for life after their sentences, particularly in the dairy industry.
The first inmates of the program graduated today. Felina Jones has more on this program and how it's helping put inmates back to work.
Working inmates at John Burke Correctional Facility are milking their way to new opportunities, learning the basics of agriculture and farming in an 8-week course.
There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of different stuff.
While Scott is no stranger to the farm industry.
I started out baling hay as a kid.
He's finally learning lessons that could help him land his dream job.
It's what I've always wanted to do all along in my work career, but things get in the way.
Multiple OWIs on his record and a year spent in prison have delayed those plans. But with help from the Department of Corrections and their dairy farm program, he's able to serve time while preparing for his future.
And we know that if they have gainful employment and employment where people want those skills, they have a better chance of success as they relate to the reintegration into their communities.
The 8-week program, spearheaded by Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Clayfish, teaches inmates how to raise calves, grow crops to feed cows, and the basics of dairy farm operations. Once completed, they earn 2 college credits through Moraine Park Technical College. With over 9,500 dairy farms in the state, there's a growing need to fill positions.
But you have right now the foundation for a very successful career, and one that is highly in demand. Don't let your past determine your future.
Now Scott's graduating with 7 other inmates. As a husband and father of 2, he hopes the lessons he learned will create a better future once he's released.
Obviously, I've done this to myself, and I've left them at home and let them down, but even given the circumstances where I am and how I got here, I still made the right decision, a positive decision to move forward and to learn and grow. And hopefully that's a great learning lesson for them.
The Department of Corrections and their partners will now evaluate the effectiveness of the program and determine if they will continue with it going forward. In Waupun, I'm Valina Jones, WISC News 3.
The milk produced by inmates is sold to correction facilities in both Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Once inmates are released, the DOC's transition program will then assist them in finding jobs, and there are at least 12 farms in the area that have already hired previous inmates.
Coming up at 6, summer often means camp for many kids.
Next, a look at the 3-day event that's giving hundreds of children the opportunity to learn football from former pros. Stay with us.
After a beautiful day today, showers and thunderstorms are back in the forecast for tomorrow. We do have an alert day for the potential for severe weather. I'll tell you what you can expect in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
An update now on a story we brought you here on News 3. A Baraboo family is seeing some relief after calling for action over a car wash that was killing their yard. Samantha Langer says soapy runoff from the Viking car wash next to her house had killed off a handful of trees in her backyard. The DNR told us there was no problem, but the car wash agreed to put a berm to stop the water. A later investigation, though, showed the car wash was missing a piece of equipment to keep its runoff down the drain. The DNR let the company continue to operate without that equipment, which was ultimately fixed a few weeks later. The DNR, meanwhile, has refused to comment.
New tonight, a 3-day football camp here in Madison is giving hundreds of kids the opportunity to learn the game for free. And not only that, they're learning from some of the best.
Ready? Go! 1, 2,
Many of you know that is former Packers star Gilbert Brown. He and former defensive tackle Santana Dotson are coaching at Breeze-Stevens Field for a camp. It's in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County.
And the fact that we have 2 former well-known Super Bowl champions working with our young people is phenomenal.
This is a camp where anybody can attend, boys, girls. There's no payment to be involved, just your time, sweat, and tears.
And this is the second year the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County has hosted the event, along with the Gilbert Brown Foundation and the help of area businesses as well.
You know those kids were listening to them.
Yeah, no doubt.
At attention.
They command attention out there.
Oh, yeah. Gorgeous day for this, too.
Yeah, perfect day to be outside, and not too hot, not too cool, but there are thunderstorms in the forecast for tomorrow. Now, you have to get some moisture in here first in order to get thunderstorms. And with the air being dry, it's cool at night. And here in Madison, we dropped to 47 degrees last night, but temperatures are even cooler to our north and west. 42 was the low in Camp Douglas and 40 in Black River Falls, but current temperatures are in the middle 70s. La Crosse did hit 80 earlier today, and you can see even near Lake Michigan, winds out of the south and southwest are keeping temperatures in the 70s there. Visible cloud track, nothing going on across Wisconsin. But you can see to our west and northwest some thunderstorms developing over western Minnesota. That's the first batch of thunderstorms. This first batch will probably stay just to our south and west, but another batch of thunderstorms will develop tomorrow, and the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe thunderstorms over much of southern Wisconsin. Hail, high winds, heavy rainfall being the main threats, but should we get a little more instability than forecast, it's possible there could even be an isolated tornado or two. So we'll keep an eye on that for tomorrow. Right now, showers and thunderstorms pretty much for a certain thing during the day tomorrow. Time lapse from the WISC Sky Cam showed clear skies this morning, giving way to those fair weather cumulus clouds, a little cirrus cloud blow off overhead. But other than that, things are pretty quiet out there. The Platteville Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam showing lots of sunshine over southwestern Wisconsin, and the Edgewater Sky Cam showing the boats on the southern end of Lake Mendota. High temperature today, 74 degrees, still below normal, but closer to the average high of 81, and 47 the overnight low temperature. Again, just 5 degrees above the record low of 42. That's the second night in a row we've been that close to a record. 74 the current temperature, winds out of the south-southwest at 8 miles per hour, but the dew point temperature is still in the upper 40s, so the air is still pretty dry. With that dry air, temperatures were mainly in the 40s across Wisconsin last night. A few places were in the lower 50s, but current temperatures are well into the 70s. Rhinelander just barely at 70, but mid to upper 70s over much of the southern part of the state. Notice our winds now out of the south and out to the west. Those winds really picking up in speed. So tomorrow will be a windy day as those showers and thunderstorms out to the west start heading in our direction, and then a low pressure system and a cold front associated with it, along with a warm front, start moving toward us. And notice out to the west, those temperatures much warmer than they are around here, upper 80s to lower 90s across parts of Nebraska and into the Dakotas. So for the overnight hours, partly cloudy skies, milder. Could be a thunderstorm well west of Madison late tonight with low 58. Tomorrow, cloudy, more humid with showers and thunderstorms. High temperature topping out at 76 degrees. Future track shows the clouds coming in late tonight. Shower and thunderstorm chance will be best closest to the Mississippi River, but during the day tomorrow, we'll see showers and a few thunderstorms. High temperatures mid-70s. Most of the shower and thunderstorm activity will end tomorrow evening, and then Thursday, look for high temperatures in the lower 80s. Could see a pop-up shower or thunderstorm late in the day. Better chances will arrive Thursday night. Rainfall amounts through Friday. Some areas could pick up anywhere from an inch or two of rain. Some places even more than that. But as we take a look at the 7-day forecast, you'll see those temperatures still around 80, upper 70s to around 80 for the weekend. But as we head into next week, those temperatures turn even warmer. Mid-80s to around 90 degrees after the 4th of July holiday.
The newest class of the UW Athletic Hall of Fame features two of the winningest quarterbacks in school history. We'll hear from Brooks Bollinger in sports.
Hi, I'm Michelle Carolla. Tonight on the news at 9, a contractor died while working at a Culver's. While police say homicide charges could be filed in this case, we'll explain first on Fox at 9.
The University of Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame will induct 10 new members this fall. It's a class that will stir up a lot of memories from their achievements and their time in Madison. Heading the list are two of the winningest quarterbacks in Badger football history, starting with Darrell Bevel. He led the Badgers to their first ever Rose Bowl win on New Year's Day in 1994, and he did it with a most unlikely 21-yard touchdown run that people still wonder how he wasn't tackled by the UCLA defense. But he wasn't, and the Badgers won. Bevel, of course, now the offensive coordinator of the NFL's Seattle Seahawks. And Brooks Bollinger will enter the Hall of Fame as well in September. He also led the Badgers to a Rose Bowl win in 2000. He took the starting job as a freshman, went 30-12 in his Badger career, including 3-0 in bowl games. He's now head coach at Cretin-Durham High School in St. Paul, Minnesota. Bollinger is glad he came to Wisconsin from Grand Forks, North Dakota.
I didn't know a lot about this place, whatever it was, 20 years ago when I got offered a scholarship. And just had a good feeling about the people, the sense of community, the sense of family, the sense of pride. That's not only the UW, not only the alumni community, the entire state. It's unlike anything I've seen. And I look back at, kind of pre-Wisconsin for me. And, I think my life is completely changed and shaped by not just my football experience here, but the community that I was able to become a part of.
Joining Bevel and Bollinger in the Hall of Fame, hockey goalie Brian Elliott, women's basketball star Tamara Moore, and Heritage member Arlie Schacht, who was a track star, who was a track and cross-country star in the 1910s. Women's hockey great Sarah Bauer will also be inducted into the Hall of Fame. She was Wisconsin's first Patty Kazmaier Award winner, led the Badgers to consecutive national championships in 2006 and 2007. Bauer is the 4th leading scorer in Badger women's hockey history. Also making the Hall of Fame, Miracle on Ice member the late Bob Suter, men's basketball star Tracy Webster, baseball coach Guy Lohman, who had the baseball field named for him when the UW had a baseball field, and band director Mike Leckrone enters the Hall of Fame in the Special Service category. Bucks guard Malcolm Brogdon won the NBA's Rookie of the Year award last night in New York. It capped a remarkable season for Brogdon, who became the first player in the modern era to win the Rookie of the Year without being a first-round draft pick. Brogdon says his success might be a surprise to some, but should be an inspiration to others.
I think it's an example for guys that are told they're too short, they're not athletic enough, they're not real point guards, they're not real shooting guards. So I just think it's an important message for people to see that it can be done. It just takes a lot. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of sacrifice and a lot of good decisions.
And also at those NBA awards last night, Golden State's Draymond Green won Defensive Player of the Year. He had a nice teal sport coat with black lapels. Pretty sweet, huh? But watch the rest of his outfit. Oh. He's wearing black shorts and loafers. Perhaps that's the latest stylish look, or perhaps not.
Michigan State guy.
I know 3 candidates on this set that are not candidates for that.
No, not at all. We didn't win that award.
Should I stand up?
You certainly can tell. You certainly can tell why they call Malcolm Brogdon the president, right?
Yeah, sounds like the former president.
Yes, he is something very deserving. Final check.
Yeah, we got an alert day for tomorrow for the potential for some severe weather, showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Temperatures close to normal through the weekend, but after the 4th of July holiday, gets up for another taste of summer. Highs mid-80s to around 90.
Thank you, Gary.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining us for News 3 at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10 o'clock.